everyone, so today I'm going to do my July wrap up and TBR. Alright, so this month was a fantastic reading month and I owe that mostly to the booktubeathon that happened this month, because this month I read a total of 10 books. Some of these were a couple mangas, but for the most part these were like decently sized books. So the first book that I finished this month I started at the end of June, and that was The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I don't own a copy of because I got it from my library. And I gave that book a 3 out of 5 stars. I know a lot of people have been raving about this series by Jenny Han, and it was a good book, but it wasn't fantastic, and I think I was let down a little bit. It was just too young for me. I couldn't really get into it. It had the same sort of feel as We Were Liars, but it didn't give me that intrigueness to actually finish the book. I did end up finishing the book, but I don't know if I'm going to actually end up finishing the series. The next book I finish is City of Fallen Angels, and if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I've been trying to finish this book since sometime in May. It's taking me a while, but I finally got through it in this book, and I rated it 2 out of 5 stars. It was not very good. I found it very long, found it dragged out. It was the City of Bones all over again. It was one of those books that it sort of has the beginning of a series sort of feel, and it's building everything up, but nothing actually ends up happening in the book, so I didn't overly enjoy it. But I did enjoy the end, so I'm looking forward to starting City of Lost Souls. The next book I read was Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I absolutely love this book. It was fantastic. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. This came out on July 18th, and it is her second adult contemporary novel. It's about a woman who is going through some marital issues with her husband over Christmas, and she ends up calling him 15 years earlier. It's time travel-y, it's contemporary, there's a whole lot of different stuff going on in this book, and it was absolutely fantastic. Then I started my books for the readathon, and the first book I read during the readathon was Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. It was really good. It wasn't as bad as what I have heard, or at least I didn't think it was as bad as what I'd heard, but it wasn't spectacular. But it was really enjoyable, and I didn't mind going on with the series. I haven't finished the series yet, but I do intend to finish the series. Next book I read for booktubeathon I also don't have because it is a library book, and that is Ouran High School Host Club Volume 1. I gave this a 4 to 5 stars, mostly because I had already seen the entire series on Netflix, so I already knew what was going to happen, and it wasn't much different from the anime. So it was as enjoyable as I could enjoy it, if that makes any sense. The next book that I read was Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard. This is the first book in the Pretty Little Liars series. If you don't know anything about the series, then you should probably look online somewhere, because you've probably seen something to do with the television show. I was a fan of the television show, and now I'm a fan of the books. I'm excited to continue reading on with the series. If you've watched my July book haul, which I'll link down below, you can see that I got a lot of these books for dirt cheap at some thrift stores in my town, so I should have no issues flying through this series. And I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Next book I read was Linger by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second book in the Werewolves of Mercy Falls trilogy, I think it's called, or it's the second book in the Shiver trilogy. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it a lot more than Shiver, so I'd probably boost it up to a 4.5, but it wasn't spectacular, just like the first book. It didn't have that sparkle. It was really interesting, and I did enjoy it, and I do plan on finishing the series eventually, but I'm not in a rush to do it right away. Next book that I read for booktubeathon was Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Volume 2. This book was absolutely fantastic. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I absolutely loved it. I'm so looking forward to continuing on with this series. And I finished booktubeathon by starting Everybody Sees the Ants, but I didn't finish it. Instead, I picked up The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings. I've been looking forward to this book for a while because I have Lindsay Cummings on Instagram and she just seems like super fantastic and I wanted to read her book super soon. So I picked it up right away and I must say I absolutely love this book. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It has some slow moments, but overall, excellent book. Totally looking forward to the rest of this series. It's going to be phenomenal. And about an hour after I finished The Murder Complex, I finished Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. I've been wanting to read this book for a while, ever since Ariel Bissett started talking about A.S. King, and especially this book. This is one of her favorites. And now it's one of mine. It is absolutely fantastic. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I absolutely loved it. I definitely want to read more A.S. King sometime soon. So that is it for the wrap up for July. So I'm just going to move on to the August TBR right now. Now for August, because I have exams coming up and it's the last month of summer before school starts and the serious reading has to begin, I'm deciding to finish some series up. Or not really series, but books that I've started and haven't gotten to finish yet. But first, I have a couple books to finish. The first one that I'm reading is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. It has taken me a while to finally get this book, but I just gave in and said I have to give it a try and to see what this is all about, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm just about to start chapter 6 and I'm hoping to have this book finished over the weekend so I can start the next book, which I was supposed to read in July, and that was The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. I was supposed to read this book in July to lead up to the Blood of Olympus release, but I never got around to it due to Booktubeathon and this hunker of a novel. So once I finish Throne of Glass, I'm going to hopefully dive into this one and get this finished as quickly as possible so I can start heading on some books that really I need to finish before the summer ends. And those books are Blood Promise by Rochelle Mead and A Game of Thrones by J.R.R. Martin. I am about 500 pages into this 800-pound book, 800-page book. I'm about 500 pages into this 800-page book, and I was really enjoying it, but I needed a break. 500 pages is a lot. It's more than a normal novel for me, so I decided to take a break, and I want to try and get this finished before the semester, my fall semester starts, so I can get into reading the next book during the semester. And Blood Promise I started back during Easter, but I ended up picking up Ready Player One instead. I was really enjoying this book even though I'm not very far into it. I'm 120 pages into this 500-page book, so I'm hoping to get to this one before August ends. If not, I will do my best to finish it in September. So that is all the books that I read last month and the books that I'm planning on reading this month, and I will see you next time. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Bye!